What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your humble, very humble host of what is now going to be a thing. I'm not going to say from now on, we're not going to say your humble YouTube live stream host because it's a little different now. It's a little different now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the inaugural episode of the new Daily Ward Live. What we're going to be doing is 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. Typically in the mornings. Every now and then we might switch it up and do it in the afternoons, in the evenings, just so other people can tune in. But typically, it's going to be in the mornings around this time, the Daily Ward Live. And these aren't going to be live streams where we just kind of like, as much as I enjoy the occasional Ask Me Anything live stream or something like that, these are going to be topic based. In fact, if you go to the description box when you get a chance, scroll all the way to the bottom. There's a lot in there. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see the topics for the rest of the week. We already got them planned out. We've already started doing research. Okay, so Tuesday through Saturday, different topic. I think, and we're going to play around with the format, but I think it's probably going to be like an hour of, topic talking. And then like the second hour will be like Q&A, something along those lines. But like I said, I want to start, just discussing different topics, current events, things of that nature. We'll also do the Q&A. I love talking with y'all, discussing with y'all. But in the beginning, I think most of the time, first hour, we'll talk. Feel free to talk amongst yourself. Second hour, we'll get to the Q&A, things like that. I'm playing around with the ideal of doing the first section, taking a little break, starting another stream, being Q&A. I don't know. We'll see. But good morning to everyone. Welcome. I appreciate y'all being here for episode 001 of the Daily Ward Live. And we got a interesting, fun topic today, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is one that, we really need to talk about. I think there's some things to discuss about the rat race. It's one of those things one of those terms that gets thrown around. Escape the rat race, get out of the rat race. I hate the rat race. It gets thrown around, but I think no one really and researching for the stream. Y'all know me, I love my search of the nature. I've been doing a lot of research on all this stuff, and I was watching quite a few videos, a lot of them very enlightening to myself. But there was, something else I learned when I'm watching videos and looking at blog posts about the rat race. I'm like, I don't think we really know what the rat race is. I think the first thing we have to do is break down what the rat race is. Okay? I think that maybe that's where the issue is. A lot of times we just assume we know what someone's talking about when they say the rat race. But like, what really is the rat race? Okay? And then that lends itself to the question in today's title, is it really realistic for everyone to escape it? And I've already been reading some of the comments that were put in the chat before, the stream even started. And we need to talk about that because I think that's another area where a lot of people got a lot of views that I think are based on beliefs they have about the rat race that maybe aren't entirely true. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Good to see everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all being here. Just waiting a few minutes. Before we get a few more people in before we get started. Thank y'all so much for being here. Like I said, first hour, we're probably just going to be talking. If there's something you just have to add to the conversation you want me to say on air, there is a super chat option. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's always the like button if you want to support the stream. We are here. We're going to be talking about the rat race. I got all my stuff today, ladies and gentlemen. Went down, got a little coffee. As always, shout out to the people at GT's Living Foods. We're still drinking on that promo package they sent us. So today we got a little watermelon wonder. Shout out to them. Synergy Kombucha. I already heard somebody else say y'all went and bought some because you saw it in the stream. So shout out to them. They showed your boys some love, so we showed them love. Always get a nice little kick when I drink that. We've hit 100 people in the stream. Let's get started. We're talking about the rat race. What is the rat race? Feel free to put your definition in the chat. For me, and I've really been going back and forth with my definition on this because I knew I was going to do this stream. And in the beginning, my definition was like everybody else's was kind of like, working a job you hate, around, but I think it's deeper than that. First off, this is what I want to say. First off, the rat race is not working a 9 to 5 job. Okay. I think a lot of people are like, if I stop working 9 to 5, I'm out the rat race. The rat race is not working a 9 to 5 job, because there are a lot of people who work a 9 to 5 job who really love their job. That is not being on the rat race. Excuse me. That is not being on the rat race. There are a lot of people who work 9 to 5 jobs, or 9 to whatever they work, or salaried positions. A lot of people work and love their job. They are not in the rat race. The rat race is when you are like in this monotonous grind that's not bringing you any joy or any fulfillment, and there's no end in sight. That's kind of how I see the rat race. A monotonous grind. You're doing the same thing day in and day out, not bringing you any joy or fulfillment. There's no end in sight, but you have to keep doing it. That's the rat race. You can work the same job for 30 years, and if you love it, it's not the rat race. There are some people who love a steady routine. They love getting up. They love going to work. They love their job. That's not being in the rat race. The rat race is when you're doing it and you don't want to do it, and like it's just monotony over and over again. That's the rat race. It's not about working a 9 to 5 job. It's about working like a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 7 job you don't like. Or it could also be like you like it, but maybe you want a break, but you can't take a break. Here's another thing that I think is very important to mention about the rat race. A lot of times we just think about the rat race as far as how we make our money. Work, job, that's the rat race. The rat race, actually, the more I think about it, and when I watched some other videos about it, I came to realize the rat race has to do with like 2 components. There's the work side, and then there's like the spending side. There's production, there's consumption. Okay, so there's the earning money, and then there's the spending money when it comes to like the rat race. By the way, if you see some movement, I got my fan on, so my tapestry is moving a little. The rat race has to do with earning as well as spending. Okay, because a lot of times the two go hand in hand and keep us trapped in the rat race. Because like you may not like the way you earn money. It may be annoying to you. You don't like it, but you feel like you got to do it because you got to pay these bills. But what ends up happening? We hate our job so much that when we get off work, we like spend all our disposable income on all this other stuff we don't really need. We become like over consumers. And then that gets us into like a lot of debt, and we're blowing all our money. And so we have to stay working at this job we don't like to pay all the bills that we ran up, because we were running up all these bills because we're trying to get some enjoyment out of life because like we hate our jobs. It becomes a cycle, the hamster wheel, the rat race. And a lot of times the way people try to get out of the rat race is changing this one over here. Well, if I change how I earn money, but if you don't fix this one over here as well, you'll be right back on the rat race. You got a job you hate, and you change it to a job you love, but you're still spending money, you're still consuming, you're still getting into debt. Well, guess what? You're going to have to stay at this job that you don't particularly like, and you're going to like start to resent it because you have to be there. A lot of times it's not the how we earn money, it's how we spend our money that gets us on the rat race. You got to look at it that way. There's 2 sides to it. So you can't just like earn your way out of the rat race. You also got to look at like, what am I doing with this money? It's bigger than just what a lot of people think. That's what I said. It has nothing to do with 9 to 5. It has something to do with a 9 to 5 job, but it's not totally just like I need to get a new job. Because if your spending habits are the same, you're going to start to resent that job because you have to like be there day in and day out. Miss Moto, I see you. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Thank you. So like that's my definition of the rat race. It's just like this monotonous cycle, never ending. You make money, it's all gone. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You hate the way you make money. You hate the way you make money. It's just never ending cycle. There's no joy. There's no fulfillment. You wake up on Monday, you're like, ugh, all weekend, you're wore out. It just never ends, and there's no joy. Like if you're getting joy out of something, it doesn't matter if the cycle doesn't end. You're getting joy out of it. You love doing it. You wake up Monday, you're excited. Oh, I can't wait to go to my job. I love my job. It's not monotonous because there's always something new going on. It becomes monotonous when you don't enjoy it or you feel trapped having to do it. And I wanted to say here another thing. I think it's important when we're saying, okay, I'm in the rat race, I want to get out of it. I think it's important to ask ourselves, what does escaping the rat race look like to me? Because I think that's another issue. A lot of times we don't really know what our rat race is because all of our rat races are different. I love rat. All of our rat races are different. So I think a lot of times, we don't know what our rat race is. So then we don't know what like escaping the rat race looks like for me or for you. I think you need to take the time and ask yourself, all right, I'm not liking what I'm doing. I feel like I'm in a rat race. What does escaping this rat race look like to me? And for me, it's the core of this channel. It's what my life is all about. It's what my ministry is all about. I think it should be all about freedom. When you escape the rat race, it should be all about freedom. I wrote something down. What did I say? The goal is to find a way to pay your bills that is fulfilling or that you enjoy, that also allows you the freedom to live the life you want. Escaping the rat race should be about finding the freedom to live the life you want. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. The freedom to live the life you want. A lot of us don't have that because we're trapped in the rat race. So when you're thinking about escaping the rat race, you need to think about, like, what is the life I really want to live? How can I find a way to make money, pay my bills, so that I can live the life I want? Because I think if you don't think about that, what you'll end up doing, you might switch some stuff up, but you'll end up right back in a different rat race. If you really aren't focused on living the life you want to live. Hey, Renee, thank you. Says, Go made you perfect. Oh, it's supposed to be God made you perfect on a non-rotating flat earth. Grow your own food. Make flat earth great again. Be smarter. We're already in paradise. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. A little off topic, but if you super chat, we gonna mention it. Renee, big believer that the earth is flat. You need to grow your own food. Shout out to that. Hey, if that's what freedom looks like to you, hey, go for it. Shout out to you. I appreciate the money. Super chat squad in the building. It should be all about freedom. What is the life I really want to live? And how do I design it in a way that, like, I have the freedom to live that? And an important one, I put it in all caps down here somewhere. Oh, there it is. You have to believe. I think it's important. We have to believe we can leave the rat race. You have to figure out what your rat race is. You have to figure out, like, what your life will look like, what you want your life to look like when you leave it, because that's important. You know, you can't just go on a trip with no destination and expect to wind up where you want to wind up, right? And then you have to believe you can leave. And I think a lot of people don't, because you'll hear people say stuff. Someone even said in the chat, they were like, if everybody left the rat race, who would do all these other jobs over here? And I think that goes back to what we're saying. And I argue this all the time. I think when it comes to, like, jobs, there are a lot of people out there who want a job. There are a lot of people out there who don't want to be a small business owner. They don't want to be an entrepreneur. They don't want to be, a content creator. They don't want all these other jobs. A lot of people want a job. And I think if we all took the time and, like, asked ourselves what job we really want to do, and we weren't so worried about stigma or things of that nature, or if we discuss some of the other things we're going to get into later about, like, getting your bills low, getting out of debt, all that type of stuff, the tactics for leaving the rat race, I think a lot of jobs that a lot of people wouldn't take now because they don't pay as much, they'd be willing to take. My point in saying this is, I think that for every job there is out there, there is someone that would like that job and love it. There's someone, I saw an article the other day about this. Y'all might have seen the video. There was a garbage man in some area, and the little girl, like, was in love with this garbage man. She came out, was bringing him, like, cupcakes and all this other stuff. Like, they just had a real close bond. This, 35-year-old garbage man, this, like, 3-year-old girl, but she would wait for that truck every day. That man loved being a garbage man. He said it. I get so much joy, just cleaning up the streets. Every job out there, there is someone who would like it. So just because like you can leave the rat race and then work a job that maybe isn't glamorous to like society, but you love it. So when we're talking about leaving the rat race, it doesn't mean that like if everybody left it, there'd be a ton of jobs no one wants to do. In fact, I would argue that if we all left the rat race, a lot of these jobs that like no one wants to do, a lot more people would do. You see the stories all the time. Dude's like, I quit my corporate job to go work at the grocery store. I love bagging groceries and talking to people. So I think if we left our rat races, did some of the tactics that will allow us to like live on less, things of that nature, I think there would be a lot more jobs that right now no one wants to take because people can't afford to take them because they need more money because they've got themselves into crazy amounts of debt. I just think like if life was more, I got to find the best job possible, make the most amount of money, and more like, hey, I want to work a job. What do I want to do? I think all jobs will be taken. All jobs will be taken. So I don't like that argument where people are like, no, someone has to stay in the rat race to do the crappy jobs. There are no crappy jobs. At the end of the day, there are no crappy jobs. Society has said there's crappy jobs, but there are no crappy jobs. I want to go work at the Taco Bell. I've been saying this for years. If the Taco Bell by my house wasn't so ghetto, I'd be down there now. I might just go to the other part of town, go to the rich part of town, go work at the Taco Bell. There's a Wendy's over in Denver Tech Center that I really want to go apply at. Just because I've never worked fast food, I want to give it a try, right? Andrew H, thank you. Say good morning, brother Tim. Super Chat Squad. Always good to hear your thoughts on life. I dig the background, by the way. Thank you. I know I'm dating myself saying I dig something. No. I say I dig it too. But I'm old. I'm middle-aged too. So thank you, Andrew. Super Chat Squad. Appreciate the love. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss that because in answering the question, I think it's possible for everyone to escape the rat race if they put in the time to like figure out what the rat race is to them, what they want like their life to look like outside of the rat race. And I think we also have to ask, this is important too, but we're going to talk about this. I love the mindset and thought process and all that. Then we'll get to the tactics. We got to ask ourselves, folks, why did we get in the rat race in the first place? No one ever asked that. Everybody always demonizes the rat race. Oh, the rat race, society, the corporations, which nothing wrong with any of that. We all, accountability. We all, there's a price to, there's some guilt there. But have we ever stopped to ask ourselves, why did we get in the rat race in the first place? We weren't born in the briar patch. We put ourselves in the briar patch. Okay? We weren't born in the rat race. We put ourselves in the rat race. You ever thought about that? You weren't born, working a job you hated, in debt, endless cycle, paycheck to paycheck. You weren't born like that. In fact, most of us, our first jobs didn't have to spend money on nothing. Some people did. Some people like maybe possibly were maybe not born into it, but maybe they had family obligations at a very young age. Shout out to those people. So maybe some people did start working and they had to take care of their brothers and sisters or their parents, some people like that. But for most of us, our first job, we didn't have nothing we had to pay for. Unless you like decided to go to college and like had student loan debt immediately or were paying your way through college. But even then, those were decisions you made. Most of us made choices, made decisions that put us in the rat race. Didn't nobody put us in the rat race. We weren't born in the briar patch. We jumped off in that mug. Speaking of dating yourself, jumped off in that mug. Wow. 94 mug, 94. We jumped off in the rat race. So we got to take accountability. And I think this goes back to like asking what the rat race really is. But like, why are we in the rat race? Why did we get in it in the first place? Now, we're accountable, but I don't think we're totally accountable because I think it goes back to like the programming. You've been told your whole life to make decisions that will put you squarely in the rat race. Sue S, thank you. Super Chat Squad, I appreciate that love. Thank you, Sue. Sue S coming through, Super Chat Squad. That's a lot of S's in there. Sue S, Super Chat Squad, SCS. I'm a professional, I can get them all out. Thank you, Sue, I appreciate that love. That's love, thank you. Our whole life, we were programmed to make decisions when we got 18, 19, in our 20s that will land us square in the middle of the rat race, aka the briar patch. I'm gonna start calling it the briar patch. I like that. Right in the middle of the rat race. It was a program. No one ever said, hey, grow up and just kind of live the life you want to live. Hey, when you turn 18, make sure you're really concerned about freedom. Make sure you're really concerned about like being happy, living the life you want to live, having the freedom to do what you want. No one ever said that to you in your life. If someone said that to you in your life, you probably would have ignored them because you heard so many other people saying the opposite. You're like, live for what? No, I got to go to school. I got to get a good job. And then, they start giving you credit cards at 18 when you have no concept what to do with money. That gets you in debt. They tell you to go to school, go to college, which is nothing wrong with that. But when it costs $30,000 a semester, I feel like that's a problem. Programmed, pushed, nay, shoved violently into the rat race. But it still was us who went along with it. You could have took the shove, backed up, like, nah, I don't want to do that. Then we start making money. And here's one of the big things, folks. And this ties into like how you get out of the rat race. One of the big things a lot of us do is as soon as we start making money, we start spending as much money as we can. Can anyone get out of the rat race? I think so, but you're going to have to make sacrifices. And this is one that a lot of people don't want to make. As soon as we start making money, we start spending as much money as we can, which for a lot of people means even more money than they make. This day and age, they will let you spend large amounts of money beyond what you make. And for most people, they have the nicest car they can afford. Most people have the biggest house they can afford. They have the nicest wardrobe they can afford. That combined with debt they might already have puts people squarely on that hamster wheel, because then they have to work as much as possible and make as much money as possible to pay back the debt for all this stuff, as well as maintain that lifestyle. That's something we do. It's programming, but that's something we do. No one puts a gun to your head and says, you buying that Mercedes, sir, sign here. Nah. We spend as much money as they let us spend, and that means we have to keep working as hard as possible, making as much money as possible, because we already owe tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. That keeps you squarely in the rat race. Miss Moda, Super Chat Squad, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you. Coming through, says, I'm told I have potential, should apply for promotions and such. Meanwhile, I just want to work part-time, manage my money, enjoy my time. Exactly. Appreciate that. Good comment. Hey, you can get a promotion. You may have to work a little harder, but they'll pay you an extra $2 an hour. Or they'll put you on salary and work you an extra 20 hours a week, but it's a promotion. You get to put, supervisor, manager, VP in front of your title that no one cares about. You're pushed. Telling you, this is a big one, folks. This is the one that really most people spend as much money as they can. Most people have the nicest, biggest, prettiest they can have, which means they have to continue to work as hard as they can and make as much money as they can for the rest of their life. The only people that are house poor these days, a lot of us are apartment poor. You might get you get a break if your rent just happened to go up $300 and you couldn't help. You get a break. But a lot of people spend as much as they can and then some. So if you already owe your next 5 years of paychecks, you got to stay on that hamster wheel. You got to stay in the rat race. Enough about what the rat race is. Let's talk about getting out of it. And honestly, I think it really starts with living below your means. I think if you decide, okay, I'm done. And here's the thing, folks. I want to throw this in real quick. Life is about, I feel like one of the keys to life is realizing where you're at. And no matter where you're at, even if you're at rock bottom, realizing that life is cause and effect. So the reason you're where you're at today The reason you might be squarely smack dab in the middle of the rat race today is actions you took in the past. But your future is based on actions you take now. So no matter where you're at, every single day we can look at life and say, okay, this is where I'm at, and I'm grateful for what I have and where I'm at. But I've also identified I want to be here. Let me take actions every single day that'll get me there. So even if you're total rock bottom or totally somewhere you don't want to be, we have the ability every single day to take little steps to get us where we need to be. So you might just be in all kinds of crazy debt and just, underwater and upside down and any other financial terms they want to come up with. And your spending habits are out of control and you maxing out Macy's credit card. You even got like a Dollar Tree credit card. If you got a Dollar Tree, credit card. No, but you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. We can all start taking steps to come up out of that. I think we all can escape the rat race. But I think it starts with living beneath or below your means. You know what I mean? It's two set things: making money and how you spend money. How you make money and how you spend money. Both of those keep you in the rat race. And the ideal goal is to make a decent amount of money in like the least amount of working time, if possible. And in a way that brings you joy and brings you fulfillment, and then also live so far below your means that like the amount of money you make doesn't have to be a lot. Okay? For the most part, most people have to work as much as possible and make as much money as possible to like balance out their spending. But when you bring your spending lower, the amount of time and the amount of money you have to make goes lower. And that's how you're able to like get out the rat race and breathe. Those people are up here. They spend a ton of money, so they have to work a lot. Don't really get to pick where they work. I need the most amount of money possible because I got all these bills. But when you bring all this low, then this comes low too. Then you got breathing room. Then you can do you can work part-time, like Miss Moda was doing. Hey, real quick, Percy, thank you. Percy, astronaut status, period. Percy / astronaut status, period. Says, we were programmed to want the corner office in the A suite. I don't desire to climb the never-ending ladder. I want a simple life. Facts. Exactly. We're taught that like that's like, yeah, they tell you go to work, get the best job possible, the best title, but no one really ever tells you why, other than like the money and like status. But like, what if you don't want that? What if you don't want the work that comes with that? What if you don't want the politics? No one ever talks about the office politics that come with that. The higher you go, the more people don't like you. The more people gunning for you. And it never ends. You get that office, then you want the, it's never ending. If you don't want that, if you want that, cool. But if you don't want that, why go for it? What is it getting you? If it's not getting you where you want to be in life, that's why you got to ask yourself, what does my ideal life look like? What does my ideal work life look like? If that's not it, you might be content just being down in the mailroom, bro. Super Chat Squad, thank you, person. You might be content just being down in the mailroom. Envelopes, boxes, push the little cart. Do they still do that? Push the little cart up to the top floor. You might be content dropping packages off at the A suite corner office. You know everybody. You know where the best coffee is, the best free food, the hottest guys, everybody. You might be content doing that. Go home exactly at 5, about 4:55. We have to get out of this mindset of up and instead get into the mindset of content, happy, And I really think that living below your means, when you get paid, and if we all started doing this, remember back when we were talking about a lot of us started out no bills, no responsibilities, but then society immediately pushed us into that. If we were taught in school, if it was passed down to us about living below our means from our first job, what we would do, I'm gonna pat myself on the back here, folks. It has nothing to do with like me as being special or anything. I just always was like this. So I know it works. I just always was a saver. Like my first job, I was working at a plant nursery. I just saved all my money. You know what I mean? Like mom, I kind of had to spend some of it because mom was like, you working now. When we go to Wendy's, you buying your food. And mine. No, she didn't do that. But you know what I mean? Some stuff I had to buy because my mom's like, you got a job now. So stuff before that mom bought me, I had to buy. But like I promise you, a good 80% of my paycheck I just put in the bank. It didn't occur to me to blow it. That's just me. Everybody's not like that. I'm just weird like that. I'm a weirdo, but I know it works. I know it works. And if we had all been taught that, like, hey, from your first job, you know, pay whatever bills you might have. If you don't have any bills because you're 18 and you live at the house, put half of your paycheck in savings. If you want something, save up to buy it. Those credit cards they send you, cut them up. And then as you start making more money, do the same thing. Pay your bills. Put money in savings. We ain't gonna talk about investing yet, but pay your bills. Put money in savings. Spend the rest. Every single paycheck, do the same thing. That will have you living below your means. Pay your bills. Put a good portion of the leftover money in savings. Whatever you have left after that, that's what you get to spend for the week, for the month, bi-weekly, however often you get paid. That's the formula for staying out of the rat race. Why? Because your bills will always be paid and you'll always have money in the bank. Which means that you don't have to immediately jump at a job you don't like. If the job you're at now like that, if it starts to get, if the job you start out with, say if from your first job working at McDonald's or whatever, one day you decide, I don't like McDonald's. You could quit and you got money in the bank to chill out and pay your bills while you look for another job. Or you could stay working there till you find a job you like. But the point is you have like a safety net, a cushion, so that you can make decisions based on what do I want to do. And if you throughout your whole life keep that safety net and that cushion, you always have the ability to do that. Can't nobody keep you at a job. Or you can say, you know what? I'm just not the type of person who wants to work for anybody else. Let me figure out a way to like start my own business, get something going on my own. Guess what? You have that savings, you have that cushion. You can either take time off work, take like a year off work, 6 months off work and work on something, or you can be investing that money in a little side hustle. Yet again, they can't trap you. When you live below your means, they can't trap you on that hamster wheel. They can't keep you in the rat race because you got a little cushion. Money on the side. I'm telling you, it is an amazing thing. When you walk into work and you like, you know what, I got enough money to quit this job today, pay my bills for 2 months. They got one more. You'll end up staying there longer just because you know you can quit. When you know you can quit a job, it becomes a lot more bearable just because like, you know you could quit. You mean like I quit a lot of jobs anyway, but there's been lots of jobs. I was so over it. But like, since I knew I could leave whenever I wanted to, I stayed because it was funny to me. It got funny because they'd be trying me and I'd be like, I could walk out this door right now. I would be laughing. The game changes when you live below your means. You know, another thing living below your means is keeping our bills low. Once again, as soon as we're able to spend money, we spend as much money as we can. Bro, keep the bills low. Keep the bills low. Get you a decent place to stay, yes. Do you have to have a brand new car? Do you have to have a brand new car? Do you have to have a certain type of car? Do you have to have all brand new furniture when you get your new place? Like these are all like if you track it back, you'll see a lot of our spending issues started. We got our first apartment. We had to furnish it. So we went down to the rent for us. I don't know the name of the rental places. And we got this nice furniture. We paid on that for 5 years. Then we was like, dang, this furniture 5 years old. I need to get some more furniture. You know what I mean? You can go down to the Goodwill, furnish your apartment. Or you can, well, they got IKEA now. So I think IKEA is pretty affordable. I got an IKEA bed. Shout out to IKEA. But it's just like, a lot of times we start getting bills as soon as possible. There was a time when, like, if you didn't have the money for it, you didn't get it. We're so into like bills and by extension debt that we're into the system our next 2 years' paychecks. It is a beautiful thing when you live beneath your means and like instead of already owing, Now we'll take like mortgages out of here because we won't talk about that. That's different. But like other types of debt, it is a beautiful thing when like your next paycheck you get, you don't already owe it. You know what I'm saying? Like when your next paycheck, there's a good portion of it that you don't owe to anybody. But most of us, we're programmed to immediately spend as much as our paycheck will allow us to spend. If we get a raise at work, we go out and buy something new. So a lot of people do. People get a raise at work, they go out and buy something new. Oh, I can get a better car now. I'm making extra $200 a week at work. Nah, keep the bills low as possible. Don't go into debt unless you have to, unless something really necessary. Put money in savings, like live below your means. Drew, I see you. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Drew, thank you. So some people succeed financially, but still struggle to get off the hamster wheel. For a lot of people, it's a mental block. Their entire identity is in their careers, and they have a hard time slowing down and retiring. Crazy. Exactly. Thank you, Drew. Super Chat Squad. I appreciate that. Very generous Super Chat. Thank you, Drew. And it's true. Because that goes one, all this, when you start looking at it, it's the programming. That's why we talked about like asking yourself, what would my ideal life look like? Now, for some people, like the climbing the corporate ladder is what they want to do. Let's acknowledge that. For some people, that is what their life would look like. They love it. They love that game. But for a lot of people, it's not. But they've been told their whole lives that is the game. So that's what they play. And then they get to a program like they can't even envision if they weren't doing that, what would they want to do? You can get so programmed that you can't even envision what you want your life to look like. All you know is this. If someone's like, hey, what if that got taken away? What would you, like, if you had all the time in the world, what would you do? So people like, go back to work. Like, you know what I mean? You can get so programmed, you can't even see yourself. Like, you don't know who you are outside of that. And that's why it's hard for, like Drew said, for people to get out the rat race, even though a lot of times they get to the point, and that's what is really frustrating, because you're like, this isn't making me happy, but I can't envision anything else. That's when it's a problem. That's when it's a problem. When you are keeping you in the rat race is a problem. But I think we can, hey, like I said, even in that situation, all right, let me do something every day that's a little outside my comfort zone, but I feel like it's something I might want to do. Over time, you'll slowly start to build your identity back outside of career, outside of work. But it takes work. It takes sacrifice. You got to do it. Or you can stay in the rat race. But yeah, living below your means, man, is I think step number one. Because no matter what you do, like I said, if you change up jobs or start a business, but you're still like living above your means, you're going to say that business you start, you're going to feel trapped there. Because you're gonna be like, man, I have to make X amount of money every month to pay these bills. You're just in a different rat race. You know, I gotta plug minimalism now. You know, minimalism has really helped me getting rid of stuff, selling excess stuff. Really helped me to, like, another thing I did to live below my means, to make it to where like didn't have to work as much. And when you're not working, you get more time to like do the things you want to do. When you don't feel like you have to have a certain amount of stuff, or that you have to buy certain stuff of a certain price point, then you don't have to work as much. Don't have to make as much money. You can work less, or you might be able to work somewhere you really enjoy working that maybe doesn't make as much money. I've talked with a lot of people over the years who are like, hey, I left this job over here and I went and worked for like a nonprofit or a charity, or went to work for my sister, and I don't make any money, but I'm happy. I like going into work, and like I don't need the money. You know, like when you can. I remember one time, story time. I got downsized from a job. My sister got me the job. We worked together, awesome times. We worked for basically an online realty company. This was back like in the .com boom, right? I've talked about this before, but I worked for a .com, and we were just like a listing site for homes. So all I did was crop, Photoshop pictures all day long. Best job ever. But we got downsized when the .com bomb happened or whatever, and so there was only a few of us African Americans working there. So of course, like the big day when like everybody got fired, he didn't get fired, my sister didn't get fired, but like all of us kind of were just grouping together talking. Um, and like I just remember, I bring that up to say because we'd never talked before because we weren't really friends, but on that day we came together as a people. But you know, he had like a really big job up in the company and he was making lots of money and drove a nice car. And I was just in the Photoshop room, we were the three guys in the back that like everybody, we were just the whatever, just the young boys in the back. Um, and I told him, I said, hey, one day I want to be making the type of money you're making. He was like, bro, it doesn't. He was like, the more you make, the more you spend. He was like, honestly, you've got about the same stuff I've got. I didn't have a car at the time, but he's like, bro, you just got about the same stuff I've got. He's like, I just got like higher price stuff. And that always stuck with me. That was 20 some years ago, probably. That always stuck with me. That's what a lot of people do. The more they make, the more they spend, the higher price items. So like you can have the same stuff when you like downsize or like you start living below your means. You can have all the same stuff. You still have a place to stay. You'll still have a car. You'll still have clothes. You have all the same stuff. You're just not spending as much for it. And once you realize it's not about the name brands or things of that nature, it doesn't really bother you. That's not to say you can't still have name brand stuff. If you really appreciate a certain name brand and you're like, hey, I'm a big fan of North Face. I like to buy North Face clothes. It makes me North Face, not North Faith. It's not a Baptist clothing line. Yeah, I really like North Face or whatever, and you like to buy that, cool. Not saying that we're not demonizing name brands. If you really want a Mercedes and you can afford a Mercedes, get a Mercedes. But when you look at it different and you're like, okay, I'm buying this because I really like it, not because like I feel like I have to have it. There might be a time where you're like, you know what I'm trying to do now requires less money. I want to, I don't want to have to work as much. I'm gonna be bringing in less money to work this job I really like. I may have to hold off on the name brands for a while. What's crazy? It becomes even more special then when you get to buy it. Like, oh snap, I got a little extra money this month. I'm getting me that shirt. I'm getting me that whatever. Get me that watch. You know what I mean? It becomes even more special when you realize, oh, I don't need to feel fulfilled in life, which it actually doesn't make you feel fulfilled. But like to impress other people for the status, I don't need to like buy certain name brands or certain stuff. It becomes even more special when you do because you're buying it because you like it. So I just want to put that in there real quick. And I want to say this too. And I actually got this from this book, which once again, I don't really like the title because I don't care about being rich. I wish it was like, I will teach you to be financially free. The link to this book is in the description box. It's actually a really good book. If you're trying to like get your credit score up and other financial stuff. One of the things, and the reason I picked this book up is because I was watching, I think it was Investing with Rose. I love her channel. I think it's called Your Girl Rose now, but she recommended this book and she was saying he has a good sense of humor and he talks about money like differently than a lot of people. And one of the things he said in this book that I really liked was like, you don't have to stop buying the things you really care about and really appreciate. Taught me that in this book. Link in the description box. Real quick too. There's also a link to free 30-day trial of Audible. So if you're like the person who likes like listen to books and you don't want to like buy this book, you can click that link and get a free 30-day trial of Audible, and then you can just get the book on Audible and listen to it in the 30 days. That's a little hack for y'all. If you like listening to audiobooks, free 30-day trial, and you're not a member of Audible now, free 30-day trial, get a couple books, listen to them. Okay. But yeah, he said in this book, like a lot of times we spend money on stuff we really don't like, but there's nothing wrong with like taking some of your disposable after you've paid your bills, after you've put money in savings, taking some of your leftover money and buying something you really like. Nothing wrong with that. He's people always like, oh, $5 coffee, that's crazy. You could save that money every day. And blah, blah, blah. He's like, if you like coffee, buy a $5 coffee. But then you can't go and buy a $50 sweater. What do you care about more? If you like something in life, that's part of like living the life you want to live. Like we talked about in the beginning. What does the getting out of the rat race look like to me? The freedom to live the life I want to live. Being super frugal and not buying anything you like or doing anything you like, to me, isn't living the life I want to live. So when I'm trying to get out of the rat race, while I'm trying to live below my means, things of that nature, I don't want to do it to such a level that I can't still like go places, or I can't still like, drink kombucha, because I love doing that. A little pricey, but I'll spend the money on it. You know what I mean? Because it's something I enjoy doing. So I think we got to factor that in too. But when you cut out all that excess stuff that you really don't care about, but you were just doing to impress other people, that gives you the money and the freedom to do the things you really want to do. It's a trade-off. And a lot of people never mention that. And if you're one of those people who loves being in the FIRE movement and being extremely frugal and like using the same toothbrush for 20 years, or only using this much laundry detergent or all that type of stuff, cool. But if you're like the rest of us, maybe cut out some of this other stuff that really doesn't mean anything so you can do the stuff that does. So living below your means, I'm telling you folks, that is a big one. Kill your bills. Get rid of these excess subscription services, all these streaming services. That's where your money goes. That's where a lot of our money goes. These little $9, $10, $14 stuff adds up. Figure out where your money's going. I like to get a different subscription service every couple of months. I'll get Netflix. I'll watch everything. I'll cancel it. I'll get HBO Max. I'll watch everything. I'll cancel it. So instead of having 4 going at one time, that's $40, $50, I only got $10 going out. Or I got HBO Max now. I think it's 14 because I ain't watching ads. But saves you a little money. But we got to get this ideal out of our heads of spending as much as we can and going into debt to do it. Because then you have to stay on the hamster wheel. You have to work as much as possible to make as much money as possible. And that's no fun. That's no fun. All right. Another big thing that I think everyone can do to leave the rat race, I think is super important, because living below your means is kind of on the consumption side, spending money side. Over here on the make money, bringing in money side, something I think all of us can do. It does take sacrifice, it does take work, but is finding ways to bring in extra money. So maybe we don't have to work the 9 to 5 as long as we don't have to work that 9 to 5. We don't have to work as much as we want to do. Find ways to bring in extra money. One of the first ones, shout out to minimalism again, sell a lot of the crap you already bought. One of the easiest ways to bring some extra money, get the ball rolling, sell a lot of the excess crap. We're already not going to start buying new crap, and then we'll sell the old crap. Start bringing in money. I got a whole sheet. See, I told you I did my research. I got a sheet over here, folks, that I'm looking at. Another one, and this is a big one. I talk about this one a lot. Start a side hustle. I think this is probably one of the number one tips for like getting out of the rat race is starting some type of side hustle. And in the beginning, you might have to be doing it after hours, after your job, on the weekends. It might be a sacrifice of time. But what you're trying to do is raise that level of money coming in so you don't have to get all your money at the job. And once again, it is a great feeling when you like, they keep messing with me. I got a little side money coming in. Give me a year. I won't need these people. And it also helps you to build your nest egg, and your side hustle can lead to your full-time job. Blessed to be able to say that's what happened to me, even though in the beginning I had no concept that this content creation thing would lead full-time, but I put in the work down in the trenches, grinded it out for many, many, many years. Now I'm blessed to say it's my full-time occupation at the moment. It can lead to that, but also all those years where I was grinding it out and getting off work and going and doing videos and spending my weekends doing videos, things like that, I was making money then too. So throughout the whole process, it was bringing me extra money in that was allowing me to make certain decisions. And even, before I was full-time, there's a lot of times when I would quit a job, take a month or two off because I knew I had a couple dollars coming in from the internet that would pay the bills. or pay a portion of the bills, and then I might take a little out of savings to pay the rest of the bills, and that would allow me to take a break and then find a job I wanted to work. So I side hustle. And by the way, if you look at in the description box later this week, I think it's Saturday, we're going to talk about like 25 side hustles anybody can start for under $500. I'm excited to do the research on that. Because y'all know me, I don't just pick, I'm not going to just like pick, you go to a lot of these side hustle lists and they're dumb jobs that no one ever do, dumb side hustles. I'm going to pick 25 that anyone could actually do and start for under $500. So that's going to be exciting. Stay tuned Saturday. Actually tune in every day. But if side hustles is something you want to, learn more about, stay tuned Saturday. The side hustle is a big one. Another one, part-time job, gig job. This is kind of the same as side hustles, but if you're trying to get your money up, maybe work a little part-time job or whatever. In the beginning, you may have to work a little more to not have to work as much down the line. Maybe. You might be able to just get your bills and your debt paid off and all that low enough to where you don't have to do that. For some people, maybe you have to sacrifice a few hours during the week for a year or two to really not have to work at all down the line. Possible. Hold on, let me get a sip of this. Are we still here? Here's one I'm going to just put out there. We're not really going to go into this today, but some investments, and this one requires that you already had savings or money put aside. And this is one of the things this really hit home with me. A lot of people got out of the rat race by taking some really risky investments. This is not like investing for the long term. Maybe you're sitting on a little nest egg. One way to really get out the rat race and get your net worth and your wealth up, take some risky bets. If it pays off, you're done. You're out. If it doesn't, well, you got to work again. But it's an option. Maybe take your side hustle income and invest it in something that, if it pays out, is going to pay off really well. If it doesn't pay off, well, it was my side hustle money anyway. By the way, I gotta say, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just some guy on the internet with a $100 webcam and a $25 tapestry talking to you. Do what you do. But one way that people leveled up is some risky investments. Wink, wink, cryptocurrency. Crypto's down right now, folks. You throw $1,000 at the right cryptocurrency, that could pay off 10x next year. That's all I'm saying. Not a financial advisor. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I know is there's always some investments out there that when they pay off could be the difference between you getting out the rat race, you staying in it a few more years. That's all I'm saying. It's all about your level of risk. But $1,000, that's good money. $1,000 that could turn into 10,000. Oh, that's good money. You lose that $1,000, it's really not going to kill you. That 10 grand could be a big difference, though. That's all I'm saying. So that is another way that some people get out of the rat race, so they make the video I watched called it asymmetrical bets. But they basically made some bets that if they paid off huge, and if they lost the money, well, they was already kind of low. He was already down. So he's already, he's paid that back. So yeah, I want to throw that in there. And another one I think is really huge. I honestly think this is the best way, and this kind of ties in with side hustles. I think passive income is really the move. And don't worry, folks, we are going to do a video. This one will be later because I'm going to have to do some real research because I want to come up with some really good passive income ideas. Because passive income, I think, is the best side hustle because you can do the work after work and still be getting paid off of that while you're at work. So I love passive income. You can work for 2 hours after work, 5 hours on the weekends, but instead of you only bringing in money during those times, passive income streams can bring you in money even while you're working your other job. And that's what you're going for. If you get a passive income side hustle or semi-passive income side hustle going, I think content creation is semi-passive. all the videos and live streams I've done in the past can still make me money without me doing anything else on them, but I still have to keep putting out content. So that's what I call a semi-passive income stream, where you have to still like do some work, but once you've done it, it keeps bringing you money in. Streams like that, I think, are the move, because then you're not just limited to the hours you have to work. If you start a side hustle mowing grass, which is cool, you're only going to be making money when you're mowing grass. Unless you set up like monthly, payments or something. Not monthly payments, but contracts. This is a different story. We'll go on that in a different video. But you're only going to be making money when you're mowing grass, which limits you to only making money during those hours after work. Passive income side hustles, which can turn into full-time income, can make you money even when you're at your other job. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing when you're making money while you're at the 9-to-5 rat race job, because then you got to smile. Then you got a smile on your face. Then you got a smile on your face. Especially if it's something where like every time you make a sale, you get a cha-ching on your phone or something. Yes, I know it's annoying when you come across people who do that. Whenever you're like, what's that noise? Oh, I just made an eBay sale. You at lunch and they cha-chinging. But hey, it's annoying to you because that ain't you. But if it is you, it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I really think that like bringing in extra money via passive income, the biggest move, and will definitely help you like get up out that rat race even quicker. Yes. And the last thing, and we kind of touched on this earlier, but yeah, like plan your exit strategy. I think sometimes we're like, yeah, I want to get up out the rat race, but like, what do you want your life to look like? So much of our life these days, ladies and gentlemen, was just like time and circumstance. You live where you live because that's where you lived when you turned 18, or that's where the job you wanted was at. You know what I mean? That's where you're paying. Like so many things we do. You live where you live because that's where you were born. Oh, that's where a friend of yours moved. You worked the job you worked at because they were the first company to get back to you and give you the amount of money you thought you wanted. You date the person you're dating because they were the first person to like respond back to you on Tinder. By the way, folks, real quick. So I took me a little, this is off topic. I took me a little staycation, right? Last couple of days. I took me a little staycation and I went up to Loveland. There's a hotel I like to stay at. There's a coffee shop I like to go to. There's a trail around this reservoir I like to walk. Took me a little staycation up in Loveland. And when I'm out of town, I'll usually hop on Tinder just to like see what happens. So I did that and matched with like like I was like, this is one. I was like, the universe is abundant. This is one. Attractive woman, tattoos, like, nice job, nice car, seemed funny, all the stuff. You know what I mean? All the stuff. Had a little meat on her bones. Yes, all the things, right? I'm like, all right, I got this one. So I got up early, right? This is probably my first mistake. It was like 8, I wake up early. So it was like 8 a.m. and I sent her a little message back. I wrote it on the toilet. So I took a long time to do it. I thought I was working it. I got this one. And she lives in Denver too. I'm like, oh, boom, Denver, whatever, link up. Okay. I thought I was working it. I said, this is the one. I said, this one of the ones, right? So I waited till I didn't want to be thirsty. So I waited till that afternoon to check my Tinder. She unmatched with me. Matched with me, swiped right on you, boy. And then when I sent my message, she unmatched from it. That actually hurt. Because it was one of them ones, right? Sometimes you keep on Tinder, it's like whatever. But every now and then you get that feeling, oh, this one of them ones. I'm like, she unmatched me. That kind of hurt. That kind of threw me. I'm like, bro, like if she just didn't respond, cool. But like she unmatched from you, boy. It was my message was that weak. I just had to put that out there. Where was I going? What does that have to do with the rat race? I don't know. Oh yeah. A lot of times we just date the person that comes along. Yeah, you ask yourself, like, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want to spend my time doing? How much do I want to work? How do I want to work? How much money do I want to bring in? How much money do I want to spend? Like, figure all this stuff out. It's a huge, wide world out here with so many possibilities. Do you want to travel? Do you want to spend more time with family? Do you want to homeschool the kids? There are so many, so often When we're dreaming about the future or our lives, we dream with the lid on. Okay? We dream within that programmed parameter. Get bust out of that. Bust out of that. This is your future. This is your life. What if you could be doing anything? What would you do? If you could spend your time however you want to spend it, how would you spend it? Don't listen to these people. It's like somebody's got to be in the rat race. Everybody can't break out. No, that's a scarcity mindset. Those people are wrapped up in the program. It blows my mind that when we are having a discussion where we're just spitballing here, let's just throw some stuff against the wall, see what sticks. Let's just talk about what we want our life to look like. Some people still can't do it. Some people can't even dream outside the matrix, right? Some people can't even dream. I'm not asking you to put in the work right now. Let's just dream about what your life would look like if you could do whatever you wanted. People say, oh, that's not possible. Bruh. But I'm here to say, like, it is possible. If anyone can do it, we all can do it. Everybody can get out of the rat race. It might take some sacrifices. It might take some people longer than others. People are very fond of pointing out that I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, I don't have responsibilities. Yes. Is some of this stuff easier for me? Of course. Is that because of choices I made? Yes. Is it still possible for people? Yes. I see people all the time living the life they want to live with families, with husbands, with wives, while still taking care of their parents. Like, they may not be able to do it like me, but they're doing it. Life is also a journey. You might not be able to totally do it immediately, but you can, hey, this is what I want my life to totally look like. But for the first 5 years, I'm going to focus on getting this part right. Then when I do that, I'm going to focus on this part. Like, it's a journey. We can't limit ourselves. Dream with the lid off. Take the lid, throw it away. You know what? Throw the lid away, dump your dreams out of the container. Just dream big. When I get up out of this rat racy ass job, what do I want my life to look like? Because, like, we have to give ourselves a destination. We can't just be like, oh, I'm going to quit the rat race. You don't even know what the rat race is. You don't even know why you're in it. You think you know how to get out of it, but, like, you're not good. Like, if we don't have a destination of where we're trying to go after the rat race, you're just going to end up right back in it. I'm telling you. You're going to end up right back in it. Got to plan our exit strategy, start going towards that stuff. I could get real, into manifestation, law of attraction, all that. We're not going to. But, like, where do you want your bills to be? How much money do you need to make each month? How many hours do you want to work? Where do you want to work? How much money do you want to put in savings? How much money do you want to invest? All this stuff. Come up with it. Write it down. Work towards it. It's possible. You'll start to see doors and windows open so you can get to that. Anyone can leave the rat race if they put in the work. And don't work. It just annoys me when people like don't look at other people. When people try to point at other people, be like, if everyone can live the rat race, why don't people? That ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with you. We're going to leave it. We're leaving it. If other people want to stay in it, let them. I don't care. If other people don't believe, my mission is to try to get them to believe. But if they don't, I don't lose sleep over it. Ain't got nothing to do with me. There's a lot of people in the world who do a lot of stuff I would never do. I don't lose sleep over it. Just don't bring none of that around me. That crazy, that negativity, don't bring it around. Yeah. But, like, it ain't got nothing to do with me. My reality is different from your reality. Your reality should be different from all the people just following the herd who think there is no other option. There's always other options. If anyone's doing it, everybody can do it. Let's be intentional. A lot of times, that's what I was looking for. Thank you, Missy Moto. A lot of times we don't live intentional lives. We live lives where we just go with flow. Oh, well, everybody else doing that. I'm going to do it. And then we're miserable, but we're like, well, what else is there? There's life. Do you know how many options there are in the universe? We couldn't even put a number on the amount of options there are in the universe, right? Do you know how totally different our lives would be if we had made different decisions when we were younger, that would have made more sense for our lives a lot of times. Now, when you're young, you're gonna make some. I'm big on like, hey, when you're young, do what you do, have fun. Um, but a lot of these decisions that put us in the rat race, bro, like, nah, don't have fun with them. Getting in debt, spending all our money. It's not the move.